What's up, YouTube? It's Morgan, also known as Jew, and I'm going to be going through the NFL Week 4 predictions that I have. Last week, I did go 10-6 with my predictions. Not perfect, but I will be shooting for that. Obviously, it will not always be perfect, but I want to see if I can get it there and provide my insight on each game. So, let's get into it. So the first game of the Week 4 slate will be the Thursday night game between the Dolphins and the Bengals. The question for this game entirely is, how does Tua feel? Is he physically okay to play after suffering the concussion? And I believe he also has another injury lingering him right now through the week. And on just 4 days rest, will they be able to play him? The Bengals do have much better, not necessarily rest, but they are not as injured. Joe Mixon is really the only question mark, but Samaje Perine is proven to be a solid backup for Joe Mixon. Jamar Chase has had a relatively rough start to the season. He hasn't been producing as much as he was last season, but I think because corners are focusing and game planning more around him, that it's causing that. I think the Dolphins take it, even if Tua doesn't play. I think Teddy Bridgewater is much more of a game manager. He's a very solid game manager quarterback. Which will be leading for the Dolphins to be able to pull it out, win the game. I'm predicting Dolphins first. For the London game, Vikings Saints. I think the Vikings take this game relatively easily. I think that the Saints have too much of a quarterback issue with Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's not a bad option, but I believe for the team, he is not the greatest asset for them. I believe that they're going to try to bench him for Andy Dalton. They're going for old veteran quarterbacks relatively, rather than a new guy to try to build up with the entire young core of their team, at least on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side is a little bit more proven, but their offensive side is very, very young. And I think the Vikings, well, the issue is it's not a primetime game, so I think Kirk Cousins will have a very good game, and goes from there. I believe the Vikings take it. The Seahawks and Lions at 1 o'clock. Obviously, as a Lions fan, I'm going to say the Lions fan, or say the say the Lions fan. I'm going to say the Lions, but in this term, I actually believe it. The Seahawks team is very based, at least their offensive scheme is very based around a short pass with Geno Smith, not trusting his arm as much. Jeff Okudah played a very solid game against Justin Jefferson when matched up last week. Jeff Okudah is proving to be a shutdown top corner type. He allowed 2 catches for 9 yards and I believe a 56.3 catch or passer rating when throwing to Justin Jefferson, as well as Amani Oruwariye on the other side of the corner. The corners, without Tracy Walker, it will be a huge hit to the Lions secondary, as is already taking hits. And DeAndre Swift is most likely hurt for this game, but Jamal Williams and Craig Reynolds will more than easily take the backup slot very well. For the Seahawks side, Kenneth Walker, they are still being very cautious about their rookie running back, and Rashad Penny has injury history in the past, which he has very good production, but he does have that injury history, which is a little scary for Seahawks run game. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are obviously very solid receivers, but with Geno Smith throwing to you, I don't know how well that goes. So I still think the Lions take it, but it's very close and it's very grit, very defined Dan Campbell win. Jets Steelers. Zach Wilson has actually been cleared and he will be back on the field. I think that without TJ Watt, the Jets take this game. I think the Steelers defense, also led by their offensive Mitch Trubisky, are just too weak to take on the Jets. Now, the Jets aren't exactly very stacked team as well, but having Zach Wilson over Joe Flacco will be a huge upgrade for them, and it'll finally show that Zach Wilson has this potential, and I believe it helps Elijah Moore figure it out, as well as Garrett Wilson being solid so far throughout the season. So I believe the Jets beat the Steelers at Heinz. The next matchup we're going to have is going to be the Bears and Giants. It's going to be a very riveting matchup of two very stellar football teams. I think the Giants take it. It depends on the health of David Montgomery. Khalil Herbert has been a fantastic backup for the Bears, but I think that the Giants just are a better team than the Bears. They have better pieces. The Bears just seem to have no direction, and they obviously don't want Justin Fields throwing the ball. He's not a very good passer. They're just a very run-heavy team, and I think that they don't want Justin Fields throwing it, which favors into the Giants with a much better defensive line than past years. So I have the Giants beating the Bears. Next game is going to be the Titans and Colts. Both of them coming off of very close wins. The Titans, of course, against the 0-3 Raiders, and the Colts against the powerhouse of the Chiefs. Now, Matt Ryan was very poor for most of the game, except for the last drive to clinch the game, basically. Jonathan Taylor has been a very good piece this season. Obviously, he's a very good running back. And this is a battle pretty much of just two running backs. I think this game will take about 2.5 hours. It will be very quick. And I think that... who do I have taking this? This is a tough one. I think I'm going to have the Colts over the Titans. I don't think Tannehill is good enough to, if they need to pass to get into the game, then I don't think Tannehill is gifted enough to pass. They don't have their receivers. Robert Woods is their best receiver, and yeah, Robert Woods is good, but who else is after that? Okay, so next is going to be Chargers-Texans. I believe that Justin Herbert will be fully healthy for this game, or if not, he'll be very close. Last game looked very, very poor, and I think that going against a very weak Texans team that have come off not won a single game this season, I think that the Chargers take this. Now, I'm not going to say relatively easy like I did last time, but I'm going to say they take it. Browns, Falcons, I think the Browns run game just obliterates the Falcons D-line. I don't think the Falcons can keep up with a good run game, and I think the Browns just murder them. Quick analysis, I know. It's fantastic. Commanders, Cowboys, I think Cooper Rush just keeps his hot streak, and I think they beat the Commanders. I think the corners of the Cowboys are good enough to defend against the Carson Wentz-led Commanders. Carson Wentz has had a very good start to the season passing, but he's just not it. He's not the guy. He looks like he doesn't care anymore about winning. He just kind of is playing to play and make money. Jaguars, Eagles, very interesting game. Doug Peterson returning to play against his former team that he led to a Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence, of course, off to a hard start this season, but the Eagles are one of the best teams in the league. I think I have the Eagles taking this closer than people would think. I think it's a 10-point game for the Eagles, but I think the Eagles at home beat the Jaguars. Last one of the 1 o'clock slate is going to be the Bills at Ravens. Ravens have been looking almost unstoppable recently. Like their only loss obviously being to the Dolphins in a wild finish. Josh Allen coming off a heartbreaking loss, honestly. Their entire secondary is very hurt, which leads the Ravens to have a much better chance in the pass game, and as well as their run game just being very, very solid overall with Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins. But I think the Ravens take it. Very close, but I think the Ravens take it. Cardinals, Panthers, I think Kyler Murray, now that Call of Duty Double XP Weekend and Modern Warfare 2 beta are over, I think Kyler Murray figures it out and just obliterates the Panthers defense. Broncos, I don't think, going on to that note, I don't think that Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold are the guy. I think they just need a full set rebuild, fire their coach, basically start from scratch. Broncos, Raiders, Broncos take it. I don't think the Raiders get their first win with the Broncos. Russell Wilson has not been good at all to start the season, but I think the run game of Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon is enough to take over the Raiders and put them too far behind, as well as the Broncos defense with their corners. Patriots, Packers. I think Mac Jones is hurt for this game. I think he has a severe high ankle sprain, and the Packers coming off a tough game against the Buccaneers. I think the Packers beat the Pats. I don't know who's starting. I think it might be Bailey Zappi, but I think the Patriots lose pretty badly to Aaron Rodgers. Chiefs, Buccaneers. Ooh, I didn't realize that was the primetime game. Chiefs, Buccaneers. I think that I think the Chiefs take it. I'm very high on the Chiefs this year. Not as much as I have been in past years, but I am very high on the Chiefs this year. I think that it's a close one, and I think that it's a clutch defensive play that wins the game for the Chiefs. I don't think they win it on offense. I think they win with their defense. Defense is not strong, but it's better than... I think it's a defensive play that wins them the game. Final game of the week is going to be the Monday night game, Rams-Niners. I think that the Rams win it. Jimmy Garoppolo was obviously very frustrated with the play calling of the 49ers last week, and I believe that with having Elijah Mitchell out, Jeff Wilson is a very good guy, but I don't think he is the guy. for their run-heavy offense and only having Deebo Samuel. But I think the Rams, even with Stafford playing really poorly this season to start, I think the Rams still take it. So that is going to be all of my predictions for the Week 4 of the NFL season. I would like to thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content of just talking sports, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. Obviously, please turn on post notifications. Please comment anything you'd like to see next or anything that you'd like me to keep doing. I'm going to be out. Peace.